time since I've done this. This feels very strange. I'm also really zoomed in because I'm doing it on my iPad. I don't know what the fuck to say. I'll address the shirt first. I was attacked by a lion. No, this is a shirt I made for Halloween, so don't panic. I'm not being savaged or anything. If I was savaged, I wouldn't be uploading it to YouTube. Right, yes. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this live stream. Basically, just an update. This is because I did the full movie collection video live streams rather. Managed to get all the way through, and then since those live streams I've managed to amass quite a collection of interesting stuff, and I thought I could make a video, but I've got about 300 megabytes of data, of space rather, left on my iPad to film stuff. So yeah, I thought I'll do it as a live stream, a little bit easier. Couple of things to say. I'll put some music on in the background. If it's too loud, just comment and let me know. If you can hear a weird noise, it's because I've got a fan on because it's about 900 degrees in here. And also I'm wearing pyjama bottoms, so if I have to stand up at any point, you are going to see things that aren't going to be allowed by the YouTube guidelines. Right, firstly, I'm just going to check that the stream is working, as I always do. Oops, daisy. Because I've monetised my own stream, and I have to watch an advert to get into it. Great stuff. Okay, yes, don't hear my own voice. Lovely, right. Hello to people. So, most of this is horror. I'm going to start with the exciting stuff, just because it's bigger and more awkward to show off. So I'll start with the box sets and the weird stuff, and then we'll get into a stack about that about that big of standard Blu-rays, and we'll see how long this takes. I'm gonna reel them all off anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Silent Hill 2 soundtrack is what we're going to be listening to because it's a fucking masterpiece. That's really loud. It's instrumental, so it shouldn't be too bad, but please just let me know if that gets too loud at any point and I will endeavour to change it. Right, we're going to keep the YouTubes open. Or am I? No, I'm not. Because I think that's going to affect the stream. I think it probably is. Right. If any comments come in, I'll have to check them sort of as and when, just because I can't see them on the screen at the moment, because that's how the YouTube app works. Right, we're actually going to start now. That's too loud even for me. Settle down. So the first thing to show off in this Blu-ray update isn't a Blu-ray. It's a book that I got through the mail the other day. I pre-ordered it, and having recently made a documentary about the filmmaker Andy Milligan, I was extremely excited to hear that his biography was getting reissued. There is a hardback version which is extremely hard to find, but I, upon making that documentary, contacted the author of his biography, Jimmy McDonough, who informed me that it was getting reissued. And it arrived, and I wasn't expecting it to be this big because Andy Milligan's quite elusive, but no, this is an absolute beast of a book. Jimmy McDonough, the author of this, is someone who knew Andy Milligan personally, worked on a few of his films, was one of the people who was kind of caring for him as he suffered in the last few years of his life. So if anyone was going to write a book, Jimmy is the man. And yeah, I haven't read this yet. I'm going to take it away on holiday and read it, so I can't comment on the contents. However, I'm just so happy to own this. It's, again, such a bizarre little item that probably shouldn't exist because of how bizarre Andy Milligan is, but yeah, it's absolutely jam-packed with information about the man himself, about the films he made. You've got some behind-the-scenes pictures in here. Kind of wish I'd had this as a resource when I was making my documentary, but nevertheless, just going to have to be careful not to show off any nudity here because there is quite a lot of that in this book as well. I love that page. It shows off some of his kind of poster art. I really like Andy Milligan. If you haven't seen my video on Andy Milligan, it's called Horror and Hate, which is a great title, and it's a great video, so you should go and watch it. Yeah, and excitingly as well, this is actually signed. So you've got Jimmy there on the left of the sign. That is the man who wrote this, and there is a little signature in the front. And this is something I never ever thought I'd own, so I'm really happy it got reissued. Bought it through fabpress.com. I think it's still available if you want to grab it. With it being such a sort of oddity, I'd say it's worth grabbing. It's definitely a collector's item. So yeah, The Ghastly one, that is called. I didn't even say the title. The Ghastly one, the biography of Andy Milligan. Right, box sets. Yeah, we'll do box sets first, because like I say, they're going to be more awkward to show. I'm going to start with the one that isn't horror. Anyone who knows me knows I'm a big fan of Doctor Who, specifically classic Doctor Who, and I have a lot of the BBC DVDs, but I've recently decided to start upgrading to the Blu-rays, and I managed to find this for £28, including shipping. Now this is season 17, I hope that's not too bright, I might have to sit back a bit. Season 17 of Doctor Who. This is from the Tom Baker era. This was broadcast in 1979, I believe? 1979, 1980, it was around there anyway. And this is a limited edition set. They've started to work through kind of a few of the series, starting at John Pertwee and moving onwards, releasing these, and they are absolutely stunning. I hadn't seen any of them in person until this arrived. As you can see, it's absolutely jam-packed with special features, and it includes, just pull it out, kind of slip cover thing comes off like this. Got some really nice original artwork all around the sides and front of it there. The episodes included are Destiny of the Daleks, City of Death, The Creature from the Pit, Nightmare of Eden, The Horns of Nemon, and Sharda, which I haven't seen a lot of those. I've seen City of Death, and I've seen The Creature from the Pit, but other than that, I don't think I've seen the other ones in this set, so that'll be an interesting watch for me. Yeah, so it comes like this, it opens up like this, and then all of the discs are kind of separate, and I think there's seven discs in this overall, all in their own little case, which is nice. And then this is going to be the bit that's hard to show off, so I'm going to kind of rejig myself. So this is Velcro. You open this up to reveal some things that I've taken out of sight immediately. You've got the TARDIS in there, kind of vista of the TARDIS in its 1979 form, which is really cool. And what was in there was a little kind of Doctor Who catalogue, which shows you some other things that have been released, but also a really, really damaged booklet, because I dropped it now. A really, really in-depth booklet about the episodes, the people involved in making them. There's quite a lot of interviews and archival stuff in here, behind the scenes pictures. It tells you what's on each disc. And do you know, if there's one thing that surprised me about these sets, it is just how many special features there are, because even the original DVDs, some of them at least, were fairly well packed with bonus features and things, but there's like most of the episodes, if not all of the episodes, have a making of documentary. There's interviews with loads of cast members. There's a thing called Behind the Sofa, where cast members like rewatch the episodes and kind of comment along. And what's nice about that as well is it's not just the cast members from that particular episode, it's past and future cast members all sitting and watching kind of season 17, which is nice because it shows that they're not just interested in their own contribution, they're interested in the series as a whole. And yeah, I haven't delved into this yet. I'm planning to get as much of it as I can before starting right from episode 1, An Unearthly Child, and moving all the way through. But yeah, I had a quick flick through these, and it's like everything I thought it would be and more. It's wonderful, and particularly the 5.1 remastered surround sound. Ooh, that sounds good through my soundbar. That kind of tunnel vision at the start, the intro music was fantastic. I look really shiny. It's very warm in here. But yeah, that is Doctor Who season 17. Don't know where to put these now because I'm running out of space already. Plonk. Right, on to actual horror stuff now, you'll be glad to know. And I'm going to start with the biggest set. Now this is another thing. I'm looking at quite a few things here where I'm going to say this, but this is another thing that I just, as a collector, come to the conclusion that I'm never going to own this. What's the point in even trying? And one night I got very, very drunk and decided to have a flick through eBay and managed to find this for, I think it was £280. Now, it's not cheap, but for what this is, that's reasonable, because it was sealed and everything at the time and it had everything with it. I just remembered I've left something of it in the other room. I'll go and get it in a second. But this is a box. And if you are particularly eagle-eyed, you'll see that says Pieces. because this is the limited edition Jigsaw box edition of Arrow Video's pieces, and it may not look like much from the front. However, you turn it round and you soon realise there's a lot more to this than just a jigsaw box. So yeah, I'll just make sure that wasn't too loud. The film opens with a little boy doing a jigsaw, hence the kind of jigsaw theme, and it's in a box that looks like this, so it's a really cool kind of, almost feels like a prop. Obviously you've got your shiny title on that there. Then you've got this big sticker on the back which tells you exactly what's included. That's what I've left in the other room, but I will go and grab it quickly. So it is directed by Juan, I never know how to say his name, Piqué Simon, is that right? Also directed the film Slugs, which I'm led to believe is quite an unpleasant watch. And this is kind of a very over-the-top giallo slasher hybrid from Spain, and it stars Christopher George, Linda Day George is in this, Edmund Purdom, I think his name is also in this. And it's just a lot of fun, you know. It's not one of those films where you can sit down and earnestly say it's fantastic, because it's not. But the music is brilliant, the kills really, really deliver, and it's just a lot of fun to sit and watch. And as you can see there, I'm not going to go through all the special features, but needless to say, it's rammed with special features. So, you take the lid off the box. This is where everything is going to go everywhere, because I've just realised what's in here. You've got just the lid there with the black lining on the inside. And I'm probably going to have to stand up to show this off. You probably guessed what's in here already, but that is a jigsaw. And it is the same jigsaw that the kid in the film is doing. And if you'd like to see what that looks like completed, you could watch the film, or you could go and follow me on Instagram, because it's on there as well. So yeah, you've got, it's of a naked lady, so I'll try and find it. Look, there you go, that's a nice piece, that's got a face on. There's some tits in there, but I'm not going to show them. And then it also comes with, try not to tip the pieces out, pieces out everywhere, it comes with this, which is kind of the main article. Now, those of you who are familiar with Arrow Video will already know of the kind of limited edition format. That says, warning, what you will see in the movie pieces cannot be revealed, cannot be described, cannot even be imagined. And that's very cool. It's just a very grindhouse feel, has pieces. And then this is what you've got inside. This is kind of your standard limited edition release from Arrow. So inside it comes with the film. Obviously I believe this is 3 discs. Got the original pieces poster on there. You've got disc number 1, you've got disc number 2, so 1 was the Blu-ray, 2 is the DVD, then this is the CD soundtrack, which is really, really nice. Then we also have quite a chunky little booklet on here, again with more original artwork. That is off a poster of another film and I can't place it. Is it The Nesting? If anyone can tell me, I'm really curious. I don't know which came first, but yeah, again, I feel like it's going to be tits in here, so I'm going to be careful. That's not tits, that's Jack Taylor's face. But yeah, more of the stuff you'd expect, nearly. In here you've got some fantastic screenshots, you've got a lot of interviews and information and things about what's in the film. And then of course you get the poster. It's a double-sided poster, so it's got the original artwork on one side, folds out nice and big, and then you've got the fantastic new artwork on that side. This is one where I do actually prefer the new artwork, so I've, if I was to put it up, which I probably will at some point, because I'm doing a Grindhouse night, I'll probably show the new artwork. But you might be thinking, £280 for that, it's a little bit steep, and I would agree with you, but it also came with the LP soundtrack, which I'm now going to run and get, because I'm a tit and forgot to do that. I'm going to leave you with Akira Yamaoka's music. Bear with me 1 second. That's everything in that box, so I can put that to one side. I'll do one tick. Pyjama bottoms. I'm back. This also came with it, because this limited edition is never ending. So this is the LP soundtrack, mainly comprised of library music, if I am remembering rightly. Fabio Frizzi's on here, Carlo Maria Cordio is on here, Stelvio Cipriani is on here, Cipriani. glad you're back. Thank you very much. Yeah, and this, for one, it just feels gorgeous. It's so kind of glossy. Nice and thick. You've got obviously the artwork on there, some more artwork on the back with your track listing. Open it up and you get just a wonderfully gory vista on the inside. And then this is on coloured vinyl. Oh, come on. Picture of a chainsaw in there as well with some more write-ups and everything. And then if we pull out the vinyl for everybody to see, yes it is indeed, it's on bright red, gory, garish vinyl. And it sounds wonderful. I put it on just as a kind of curiosity when I first got it. I'd be like, I'll listen to a couple of minutes of it just to see what it sounds like. I forgot how good the music is in Pieces. It's really well chosen library tracks from some really quite well established musicians as well at the time. Like if you're into your Italian horror, you probably know who Fabio Frizzi is. You probably know who Stelvio Cipriani is. Again, just saying his name differently every time. So yeah, if you get the chance, I mean, of course watch the film, but also the soundtrack. Is it on Spotify? I actually don't think it is on Spotify, but I wish it was. That's the little spine thing you got to put down the side. I'll just keep that in the gatefold to stop it from getting damaged. I love this track. Also, if you haven't played Silent Hill 2 or listened to the soundtrack, recommended. So yeah, that is the end of that. We're 16 minutes in and I've showed off 3 things. This is going to take a fucking long time. Pieces! Now, another thing I thought I'd never get. Hang on, am I right? Because I feel like this was £280. No, this was less than that, for sure. But again, sticking with Arrow Video with an out-of-print limited edition box set. This is one of the things I've been pining over for so long, even since just starting collecting. Since I knew this was a thing, I've wanted it, and now it's here, and I'm thrilled to bits. So this is Macabre Visions, the films of Mario Bava, who is an Italian film director, notable for kind of bringing about giallo, the genre of giallo in movies with his film The Girl Who Knew Too Much. Also made a couple of appearances on the Video Nasties list. He did A Bay of Blood. Oh, excuse me, he only had one appearance on the Nasties list, I think. But yeah, he also did Blood and Black Lace and another film, which we're going to see in a little bit. Very, very diverse and strange, but unique, is what I will say. Again, as you can see, endless special features. I'd be here all night if I was to read them all out to you. Even comes with a little removable slipcovery thing. So you slide these out. The only gripe with this box set is it's very green. That's funny. It's like, it's very samey when it comes to the artwork. Like, I can show you the... do you see what I mean? But, I mean, that is a very minor complaint. The films themselves come in something like this, which I've not really seen anything like this before. It might be a common thing, it's the first thing of this that I own. So we open it up. The first film in it is Black Sunday, which is a landmark Italian horror film. Fabulously gothic and black and white, starring Barbara Steele. You've got the write-up on the side there with the special features, and then the disc is contained by a kind of little foam disc, so it doesn't ever feel like it's going to scratch the disc, which is quite nice. It pops in and is in there really securely. I'll sit like this just to show these off. The next film, The Girl Who Knew Too Much, the one I've already said, and it does also contain I think it's the international cut called Evil Eye. Then you've got Black Sabbath, which is the film that inspired the band to call themselves Black Sabbath. Again, you've got the international and the Italian cut of that film. Kill Baby Kill, which was a film of his I hadn't seen until I got this box set, and it's now become one of my favourites. It's so beautiful. Mario Bava's got a thing with cinematography and colour. Like, you can totally see where Argento got his Suspiria flair from, and there's a lot of that in these early films. I'll get to those comments in just a second. But yeah, this is a fantastic display of what Bava is good at, so if you haven't seen any Bava and want to get into it, that's probably a good place to start. $5 for an August Moon. The only Bava film I've seen that I'm not so keen on. That's not true. yeah, I don't really like $5 for an August Moon. It just feels a bit lazy. But it's a Giallo with Edwidge Fenwick in it, so that's something to recommend. Then we've got the notorious video nasty A Bay of Blood, which is seen as something of an inspiration to Friday the 13th, especially part 2. If you look at part 2, there's a lot of similar scenes, you know, like with the spear through the mattress being a particular one. Baron Blood, just a fun one, Baron Blood. There's nothing too sort of analytical to say, it's just kind of a fun, colourful gothic piece. Probably the most interesting film in the set, Lisa and the Devil, was... I mean, it stars Elka Summer, who I can only ever see as Miss Vushka from Carry On Behind. But you've got Telly Savalas is in this. Speaking of Suspiria, is it the head witch from Suspiria? Or one of the teachers from Suspiria is in this as well. The glare is horrendous in here. Anyway, it apparently didn't do very well on release, or distributors didn't like it the way it was. And after the success of The Exorcist, they asked for additional material to be shot, which was shot, and then it was re-edited as a film called House of Exorcism, which is on this disc as well. I haven't seen House of Exorcism. I'm led to believe it's dreadful in comparison with Lisa and the Devil. But again, I don't know if this was another film that was considered lost for a while, and then sort of made a comeback. But yeah, nevertheless, I really like Lisa and the Devil, if nothing else, just for how strange it is. And then the last one in the set is Rabid Dogs, which is the other Barber film I really don't like. It's a crime thriller, more than a horror film, this one. It's just a kind of, you know, some civilians get caught up in a bank heist and are then kind of exploited and used by these horrible criminals. And it didn't really do much for me. There is also a different cut called Kidnapped, which I believe has some updated editing and music. Which again I haven't seen, but it's very rough around the edges, the original Rabid Dog, so that might be why I wasn't too keen. Sort of lots of jumps in, you know, from high def to standard def, and obviously that can't be helped. It's a great thing that they've managed to source the full thing, but it's one of those things that kind of, you know, a factor that probably led to me not enjoying it was that I was taken out quite a lot by the jumps in quality. And it also comes with this book, which has the same cover as everything else, but this is, I don't know if all of those separately had little booklets in them and this is just a compilation of what was in those booklets, but there's your contents page, just kind of goes through the films separately, your cast lists, your posters, etc. Just gives you some kind of insight into the films, the different releases. So yeah, it's a really nice little edition. I say little, it's actually quite extensive. It's got 70 something pages, 77 pages. 78 pages, and I've yet to read this yet. I've read the first couple about the first couple of films in there, but not the full thing. So I'm very confident it will be interesting though. So that is Macabre Visions, the films of Mario Bava, and I can't stop smiling every time I look at it because I can't quite believe I managed to get it for the price I did. However, it's here, it's queer, it doesn't want any more bears. There it is. Right. Next up, I never thought I'd own this, no. I'm just going to this is going to be horrendous to show off, but just bear with me. So, I quite like Twin Peaks, as a rule. And I had everything on Blu-ray. I had the original series, I had Firewalk with Me, Missing Pieces, and the limited event series, the 2017 comeback, all separate. And then I was aware that this box set existed and I never really took too much interest. And then I saw it come up for 60 quid on eBay, and I thought, if I sell the other stuff I've got, I can put a good chunk towards that, and that's exactly what I did. Little did I realise that it was £60 for it sealed. How that came about, I have no idea, but this is Twin Peaks Z2A, which contains everything, and a fuckload of extra special features as well. So this is going to be very hard to show off because I realistically need something flat surface, but I'll try my best. So yeah, you've got obviously the forest and everything around the outside. You've got the contents of it there. As it says, limited to 25,000, which is quite a high number to be fair for a limited box set, but nevertheless happy to have one. Just tells you kind of roughly what Twin Peaks is. You've got all the additional stuff down there. And then this opens in a really bizarre way. It's one thing I actually am not too keen on about this box set is the way it's designed. So, watch this. This is going to be really hard to do with one hand. So, you kind of... come on. It always feels like you're going to break it, right? I'm going to do it on my lap. And then show you how it opens. There we go. So, you've probably got an idea from that split down the side. But it opens up like... see what I mean? Like that, and then everything is in there. It did also come with, just before I forget to show it, a little decal of Agent Cooper and Laura Palmer. Yeah, they are the right names. I don't know why I didn't think they were. It's a little plastic kind of decal thing, which did have magnets on the bottom, but it was annoying me the way it sat in, so I just took the magnets off, and now I sit this on top of the box set because I think it looks cool. But nice little addition anyway. It's like solid plastic. And yeah, so I can't let that go too far back, that's the awkward thing. So this opens up like this, and then I'm just going to take everything out of there so I'm not fumbling around with this box set for ages. So the first thing we get is, there's comments to read, isn't it? I'll do it after this box set. The certificate of authenticity, spelled backwards. Weirdly, this image is flipped for me, so everything else is backwards apart from the word authenticity. Which gives you the number there. It's quite a high number, 22,665. But I couldn't really give a shit, to be honest, what number it was. So there's that, which is, I mean, it's very nice. And then we are presented with this, which is a 4K UHD transfer of the pilot episode and Season 3, Episode 8. Riddle me that. But yeah, it's a 4K UHD disc. The rest of them are all... I think they're all 4K. They're not high definition 4K, but yeah, I mean, you know, I'll never ever not watch it in 4K now that I own that. It's just a bit bizarre that they've chosen those two episodes. Right, first thing that comes out is this. Now, this is the original series. I'm not going to take the discs out because, as you can tell, that would be an absolute ball ache. It just keeps going and going and going. And yes, there's discs on the other side. So yeah, that is Season 1, Season 2, Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me, and The Missing Pieces, which is the kind of deleted scenes from Fire Walk With Me. Fold away like that. And then you've got... Do I show it off again? Of course I do. This is the same thing, but for the limited event series from 2017. And you've got... I think all the discs have special features on them. Some more so than others. I think there is just like a solely special features disc at the end, which has a few kind of more in-depth things. But I think every single episode of the limited series has its own making of. It also has, which I absolutely love, all of these episodes end, or at least all from memory, end with a musical performance by some band in the Roadhouse bar, and some genuinely quite sort of well-known. I mean, Nine Inch Nails are in there. Julie Cruz is in there, who's obviously just synonymous with Twin Peaks and who unfortunately passed away recently. You've got Sharon Van Etten is in there. Lizzie is in there. Chromatics are in there. Trying to think who else. James Marshall's in there, who's obviously again synonymous with Twin Peaks. The full performances are featured on this disc, so if you just want to hear the songs in full, you can do that, which is great. And then the last thing they include, which totally unnecessary but I love, is the Red Room Gallery. Now this is a kind of envelope thing that you open up, and it's just, I think it's 25 cards, 25 picture cards of Twin Peaks related stuff. So obviously I'm not going to go through them all, I'll just pick a few. David Lynch there at the front. Then you've got Cheryl Lee. Then you've got Cheryl Lee again. Then you've got Cheryl Lee and David Lynch. There are some others in here. See, David Lynch and Michael Anderson. I think his name is Michael Anderson. You've got the Red Room there with Dale Cooper in it. And yeah, I mean, there's some newer ones in here as well. I think there you go, that's from Season 3. But there's absolutely loads of them. There's like 25 or 30 of these. And they're really, really cool. Really thick card as well. Printed like really, really high quality. So yeah, thrilled to own that. We're going to start watching Twin Peaks again in winter. Because it's I don't know, it's kind of a weirdly cosy show. I know that doesn't sit right with the contents of it, but you know, just the kind of earthy warm fireside feel of Twin Peaks affords itself very nicely to winter. So as much as I'd like to dig into this now, I'm not going to. I'm going to hold back until winter, and then we'll properly dig into this set. Just make sure everything's backed properly. Along with my certificate of authenticity, obviously. Get in there. So yeah, like I said, my only gripe with that box set, it is magnetic as well, which is nice, is just how weirdly it's laid out. But I mean, 60 quid. I think, barring the stuff from the box sets I sold, this came to maybe 30 quid, I want to say, which I can't complain at all. That's fantastic. Right, I'll plonk you down on there, and then I'm just going to quickly respond to those messages that someone sent. Where were they? I'm going to have to pause the music to do that, because otherwise you're going to hear my horrible voice. There you go. Like I say, if I've missed comments now, I really do apologise. It's 2:15 on the West Coast, Portland, Oregon area. I was meaning to get my third COVID booster shot and then started watching you here. Well, do not let me get in the way of that. That's more important. Barbara still has those big eyes like Macarena Gomez. I think I'll get the shot tomorrow if we're going to be here a while. Again, don't let me get in the way. I'll stop spamming you after this. Will you show your bookcase of collections? Do you visit dark corners of the sick world? It's funny you mentioned dark corners of the sick world. I do frequent the dark corners of this sick world. Yeah, I love dark corners. They're one of my favourite channels. Are you dark corners in disguise? Will I show my bookcase? I mean, it's... I've shown everything off in live streams before. There's a playlist, I think, on my channel somewhere of me showing everything off. I mean, I post pictures on Instagram if you want to go on. I think it's ben.simpson.1998 on Instagram. It's on there somewhere if you want to find it, I think. But yes, thank you for the moment. And then let's bring in the music again. There you go. The vibes are immaculate. There we go. That's right. Yeah, that feels right. Okay. We'll look you up there. Thank you very much. What was I going to do? Yes, the last box set. I promise this is the last box set, and then we're going to crack on with the actual stack of movies. Now, this is one that I already had, but I've just upgraded to 4K because I'm a fucking idiot. But it is my favourite film of all time, so I can't not upgrade to 4K. This is Dawn of the Dead. This is the Second Sight box set. And again, this was one I thought, I've got the box set to sell, so I might as well just use the proceeds from that to put towards this, which is what I did. And yeah, I'm rarely kind of... There's not been many instances where I put a 4K disc in and thought, fucking hell, that's beautiful. I did with this. Because normally I find there's never too much difference. It's normally sort of slight things. But the whole thing just feels colour corrected, it feels crisp, it feels... It retains that kind of low budget quality while also just... It looks beautiful. And it's all the same special features and that as the other box set. Absolutely jam-packed. I'll quickly unpack it for those who haven't seen it. If you want a more in-depth look at this box set, my channel again, I believe. Yeah, and I think when I got the other box set, I threw the paper slip thing away. Not this time, I kept it. So, again, like with the Doctor Who set, it kind of comes off like this, and then you are left... I cannot get over how beautiful this set is. You're left with that. Take off the lid. I'm going to start from the back just because I feel like it might be a little bit easier. So, just quickly pull these out. Again, we're going to be looking at a few more art cards here. These come packaged separately, but they do fit into the box if you kind of jig it about right. So you've got Stephen, you've got the air hanger zombie, you've got the nurse, and you've got the Hare Krishna zombie. So yeah, just some cool little art cards that come with it. Never complain about art cards. Then we've got the novelisation of Dawn of the Dead. This was written by George Romero and Susanna Sparrow, with a foreword by Simon Pegg, I believe. Yes. I did read this and I really liked it. The only thing I thought was that the ending felt a little bit rushed. But it's relatively faithful, I think, most of the way through. I remember kind of reading it and knowing exactly what was coming next, which may sound like it spoiled the experience, but it didn't. I really, really enjoyed reading it. And again, just a fantastic addition to this set. It's 226 pages, so it's not like an insignificant little book. Yeah, happy that it comes with that. Then one of my favourite, if not my absolute favourite book to ever come with a box set is Dissecting the Dead, which is this hardback book, absolutely jam-packed with behind-the-scenes pictures, new essays on the film, analysis from different people. I'll quickly flick to the middle because that's kind of, when I say endless, I mean endless pictures of, kind of behind the scenes, and that's the Goblin soundtrack, I believe, there. Different posters for the film. That's in the centre, but then sort of sandwiching it is page upon page upon page of really, really in-depth and interesting insights into the movie, written by a lot of very interesting people. So, yes, well worth it, even if just for that. Oops, won't let them down. Then, next from the back, we have the CDs. Now, in here there is the Goblin soundtrack, which was music that was made specifically for the film, and then we have 2 CDs of library music, which George Romero picked out to use for the theatrical cut. Personally, I think Goblin did a fantastic job on this soundtrack, but it would be nothing without this. I think the Argento cut, the Italian cut, is hindered slightly by its use of solely the Goblin music. I think this music here added a lot to it, and there's some fantastic tracks in here as well. A lengthy listen, as you can imagine, with it being 3 discs, but very, very worth it. I think it's the first time that the library music has been released in full, which is exciting. I'm just going to quickly turn that light down a little bit because it's starting to hurt my eyes. It wasn't so bad when it was light outside, but now it's darkened a bit. There we go, that's a bit more moody, isn't it? Right. And then the last thing in the Dawn of the Dead box set is the film, as you would expect. So you have 4K ultra high definition transfers of the theatrical cut, the extended canned cut, which is this disc here, the longest official version of the film. It was the edition, it was the screening, it was the edit that was shown at the Cannes Film Festival, I believe. And then we've got the Italian Argento cut there, and then we have the special features on disc number 4 there. I have watched them all. I do prefer the longer version. I think the longest version is the best. Mainly just because I love the film and I love the characters, and the longer I can spend with them, the better. But the theatrical version is perhaps paced slightly better. I think that's George Romero's preferred version. And the Argento cut is much more focused on action and less on character development. So if you're after just kind of a fun comic book style zombie film, that's maybe the version to go for, but I'll be honest, having watched it once out of curiosity, I don't think I'll be revisiting it anytime soon, purely because of how much I like the other cuts, particularly the Cannes cut. There is an extended hours cut as well, which comprises kind of, it's the longest cut available, but it's not from an official source. I think it's like a fan-made cut with all of the different edits spliced together. I think that runs about 2.5 hours. Which it's a hell of a sit, and it's is a little bit muddled, obviously, with the way it's been put together. But nevertheless, I have seen that one as well, and it is worthwhile. So, if you like the film, which I mean, don't know many people who don't. There we go. There's the box again. It's heavy, this box as well, just because of how much is in it. And then this sits very nicely, just in its little paper sleeve, like that. Right. We are 39 minutes in, and I'm about to start showing Blu-rays off. Normal Blu-rays, thank God. Drink. So, this is no particular order. This is just the order that I pulled them off the shelf in. I feel like we can whisk through these, okay? So, the first one that I'm going to show off is a relatively recent release from Vinegar Syndrome. And it's a double feature of 2 canon slasher films from the 1980s. First of which is Schizoid, starring Klaus Kinski, and the other is X-Ray, starring Barbie Benton. I think both of these films, particularly Schizoid, I think is quite underrated. It's not up there with like the best of the best by any means, but it's decent for what it is. And I think X-Ray is one I need to watch again, to be fair. But I remember thinking it was okay. My only issue with this is that you have to kind of pick one or the other. I'd like it to be Schizoid and X-Ray, you know, on the same spine. But as you can see, that is just Schizoid, and that is just X-Ray. I have that side facing out just because I think that's more striking. But, you know, whatever. We'll open it up. This is a 4K UHD as well, which is nice. Again, we've got some different artwork in there. See, this is the kind of thing where it's got both on, which I would have liked. There's all your special features and things on the back. Inside, there's the 4K of Schizoid. There's the 4K of X-Ray. And that disc is it just a special video? No, it's a Blu-ray. It's just a standard Blu-ray of them both, which is quite cool. I did own the 88 films versions of both of these, but I decided that this was far too nice to not upgrade, and frankly I made the right decision because I put these in not to watch, just to check the transfer, and I was blown away by how stunningly beautiful both of these films now look on this set. So yeah, great job Vinegar Syndrome, as always. Very rarely disappoint. And speaking of disappointing, this is Cannibal Terror. Now I did own this before, but it didn't have the slipcover, so I sold the other version and got a slipcover version. That's as exciting as this gets. This is an 88 Films release of a really, really bad cannibal movie, which I only really bought because it's on the Video Nasties list, and I'm a sucker for a Video Nasty. I might watch this tonight because my friend Joel, who I know is watching, really wants to know if I still think this is better than Devil Hunter by Jess Franco. I watched that recently. And I remember it being worse, to be fair, Devil Hunter. I mean, it's still bad, don't get me wrong. But yeah, I'm now intrigued to see what I think of this one upon a rewatch. But again, it's just the slipcover is really nice. That's why I kind of wanted to upgrade, and I'm happy I did. It was cheap, so yeah, happy with that one. Again, another one I used to own, but just upgraded to the slipcover because it's pretty. Very pretty in this case. This is Arrow Video's release of another video nasty called Contamination, directed by Luigi Cozzi, I think. Don't doubt yourself, Ben. Never doubt yourself. Yes, Luigi Cozzi, there he is. I like this film. I think it's a lot of fun. It's kind of just an Alien rip-off, but they do some different stuff with it. It's not just like a shot-for-shot remake or anything. It's it has the body explosions, it has the kind of sci-fi vibe going on, but yeah, I think it does some interesting stuff. And again, just simply because of how cool this slipcover is, I thought I need to upgrade, so I did. We pull this out, we've got the original artwork on the inside, and then we open this up. We've got two discs in here. We've got the Blu-ray and we've got the, there we go, my finger was stuck in it. We've got the DVD in there as well. Really like the way this is laid out. It just feels very very cool, very sci-fi. I've got a little card in there, which normally I swap these round to have the right card in the right box, but I think this came with this in, so it's obviously someone else who does the same thing. Bought it from eBay. And then we've got just a little skinny booklet, nothing too in-depth or exciting in there, but it's nice to have nonetheless. And that is Contamination. See how quick we're going now? Good stuff. So yeah, that now looks loads better on my shelf. And if the sun catches it right, it looks really pretty. So yeah, Contamination. We're actually sticking with Arrow Video for quite a lot of this stack, so if you don't like Arrow, go away. The next one is another upgrade. A lot of these are upgrades, I can't lie. In fact, yeah, a hell of a lot of them are, but just stick with it, believe me. This is the 4K, recent 4K UHD release of American Werewolf in London. Again, I used to own this, but just decided to upgrade to the 4K. It's not so bad when you own the other one because people will buy that off you and then you can put that money towards the 4K. So none of these I spent sort of too much money on, thankfully. Looks fantastic. Again, I had a quick flick through it. It's just as stunning as you'd think it would be. There's a disc. Obviously, you've got some more art cards in here because we love an art card. This one is for Hell High, which I believe is a recent release of Arrows. And then you've got some kind of lobby cards in here, which is really pretty cool. That is one of my favourite scenes on Subway. You do get to see David Norton with nothing on in this film, so that's obviously a bonus. There's London. There's a werewolf. And then inside we also get... I don't know if there's anything different in this book to what there was in the other one, but nevertheless it's nice that they have still included this. Oh, nasty. Again, full of interviews and archive stuff. Special effects artists and things. Oh, that scared the shit out of me. I wasn't expecting to see that. Hello! Looks a bit silly because you can't really open the page that far, but yeah. Lovely stuff. And then you also get the poster. This is one where I prefer the original artwork, I have to say. So you've got the new artwork on there, and then, whoops, a daisy. Then the original artwork. I really like that poster, it's so minimal, it's cool. So yeah, that's an American Werewolf in London. Just pack all this away, and then we shall crack on. Sorted. Another upgrade. This is Candyman. Again, same as with that, I used to own this box set, released to 4K, sold the old one, used the money to get this one, tidy. I feel like I talked about this, did I talk about this recently? No, I was talking to Joel this morning about Candyman, that's why I'm thinking I talked about it recently. But again, more of the same stuff in here, I'll quickly show it off. You've got the 4K, obviously, of the film, with your art cards and everything inside. This one comes with a book as well, which I've forgotten about. Got a little book there, you've got Sacred Spirit, apparently, is the art card in here. You've got lobby cards again, which is really nice to see. I think there's 6 in all of them. Really like the art on the back of those as well. Candyman with his hook. Stick all them back in. And then we get another book. I really like that as well, the kind of way they've put the hook on the ribcage. Cool stuff. It's not very thick, this one, actually. It's okay, that's why. So this looks like... okay, it's storyboards. I thought this was another write-up book, but it's not. My apologies. That is genuinely really interesting. I'm going to have a flick through that later. Because I thought it was... I like to read these at night, so I kind of was waiting for a time when I was feeling Candyman and was going to just read it, so I'm glad I've noticed that now. It's going to be like looking at a comic book. Then we open up the poster. New artwork, upside down. There's Candyman. Got the original artwork there, obviously, iconic. And yeah, like I say, I really do like these 4K upgrades. I know in my video where I was talking about things I don't like about collecting movies, I did have a gripe about them. And it's a double-edged sword because the re-releases are stunning. I will give them that, they look fantastic. It's just, you know, when companies just kind of keep re-releasing the same stuff and upgrading to 4K where the issues arise, but like I said, more than happy to own these. Arrow Video, again, another slipcover upgrade. This is the Mutilator, which I really like the Mutilator. I think it's really underrated. It's not like classic, but it is fun. Certainly pays off with the gore and with the poster art, which is beautiful. Got this from a guy on Facebook for, I want to say like 12 quid, but obviously again sold the old one, so there's barely anything. Again, this is one of those films that kind of doesn't, oh god, one of the worst posters I've ever seen. Fall Break. It's a film that doesn't really deserve the release it's got, but nevertheless I'm happy it's got it. Because again in here, look, we've got an art card, this time for Blood Feast, Herschel Gordon Lewis Blood Feast. Flip that round. You've got your booklet in here, just check it is actually a booklet and not a storyboard. Nope, it's a booklet. Lovely. And this is a dual edition thing, so you've got your Blu-ray disc. Oh god, it's all falling out. Get in there. Blu-ray disc, and you've got your DVD in there as well. Which is weird because if ever I can get a dual edition release, I'll always get them, even though I don't know why I'd be bothered. I wouldn't watch a DVD if I've got a Blu-ray, but adds weight, doesn't it? It feels more expensive. The Mutilator. Now this is actually 3 in a row that are new totally, so buckle up, sluts. This was a birthday present from my dad, and I was really intrigued when Arrow announced this one because it doesn't seem like their kind of go-to for a limited edition. Nevertheless, I'm very, very happy because Mill of the Stone Women is a really fascinating film. It was the first Italian horror film made in colour, which is very noteworthy. This on the back reminds me of Night of the Eagle. I don't know if it's the same image, but I feel like the poster for Night of the Eagle had something similar to that on. And I feel like it was around the same time. I think this is 1960. And yeah, really interesting movie about, if I remember rightly, it's a journalist who goes to this old windmill to meet this guy who is, in this windmill has a kind of tourist attraction of all these wax dummies and mannequins, and he goes to sort of write up about this this exhibit because it's its 100th anniversary, I think. And he kind of gets roped into this very bizarre and quite dark series of events that culminate in you realising that are the wax dummies actually wax dummies? House of fucking wax or what? And again, this is going to be more of the same, but I'm going to show it off nevertheless because it's beautiful. This is the card that came off the back. Do you know the thing that sticks on? Because some of them have really good adhesive stickers and some of them don't, and this just didn't stick, so I thought, fuck it, I'll fold it up and stick it in the box. Because as much as I like that, I kind of like having that there so I can see what each disc has on it. And so again, I've tried this with some of them fit, some of them don't, it's bizarre. However, enough mourning. We've got the film in there with a wonderful poster which looks original. Mill of the Stone Women. You've got some lobby cards in here, which I'll quickly flick through. I think these are all of a similar kind of design. Oh no, there's a publicity shot. Another publicity shot. Another publicity shot. Another publicity shot. A poster which is upside down. And back to the start. Again, another dual edition. So you've got your Blu-ray, which looks fantastic, by the way. Your DVD. You've got a book which is really thick. Not all of these sort of limited edition booklets are that thick, but this is 58 pages, which is, I mean, you know, considering it's in a box, quite impressive stuff. Haven't read this one, so I can't really tell you much about it, but I'm assuming more of the same. And then we've got the poster. I adore the original artwork for this one. How cool is that? That's so great. I love these old posters that were just writing all over the place. And the hand-painted stuff is wonderful as well. Then you've got equally fantastic new artwork on there as well. So yeah, I was very, very eager to see this film, and when I opened it, I was over the moon that my dad got me this, especially the limited version. Because he thinks I'm a bit kind of pretentious always going for limited editions, but you know what? When they're as high quality as this, who can blame me? Just going to stick all this in so nothing creases and folds up. I'm well aware that soundtrack's coming to an end, and I don't know what the hell to play next, so any suggestions, let me know. Mill of the Stone Women. Have we reached an hour? We haven't. We're fucking flying through this. We're nearly halfway through the Blu-ray stack. We might get this done in like an hour and 20. The next one is from Nucleus Films, who I only have one other thing from. It's Death Laid an Egg, which is a bizarre film. It's from their European Cult Cinema collection, and it is a Jess Franco film titled The Erotic Rites of Frankenstein. Now, Jess Franco is a very divisive, is that the right word? Polarising. Very polarising filmmaker because he has a mix in his filmography of very, very stylish movies and shit. And this kind of lies slap bang in the middle. Sorry if you can hear that, it's a plane. Yeah, this is a very, very stylish film. It's by no means a faithful adaptation of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, but it's a very interesting one. And I saw this in my local CEX, and it's quite a bizarre film to pick out. You could kind of see the guy behind the counter being like, "Oh yeah, the erotic rights of Frankenstein. Yeah, that one's been sat on the shelf for like 15 years." But I picked it up mainly because it was on the Section 3 Video Nasties list. And why do the RAF have to train now? Like, do they not know what's going on? Yeah, this was on the Section 3 list, and it was very, very beautiful when I watched it online, and I thought, you know what, the Blu-ray must look great, and it does. It looks wonderful. So yeah, it's kind of a release that took me by surprise. I'm sure this was only like £8 or something. It's pretty. I mean, it's a basic release, but I'm very, very happy to have it. It's a very kind of odd title to own. So, the erotic rights of Frankenstein. Now get ready to cream yourselves because we're delving into Synapse Films, and anyone who's anyone probably knows what this is going to be. It is their recent steelbook release of Tombs of the Blind Dead. I get smiley every time I hold this. Right, so I was aware of Tombs of the Blind Dead, I was aware of the series, but I hadn't seen them, and I was kind of waiting for the right opportunity to come along. I know a lot of people are hoping for a box set of all the films, but this was announced, and I was like, I can't not get this. I'm going to actually give a shout out to the website filmtreasures.co.uk, who are a UK-based kind of horror site, you know, with Blu-rays and merchandise and that on it. And they stock overseas things like Vinegar Syndrome, Severin, Synapse, and they can get it out to you free shipping. Obviously, the stock levels aren't as high as they would be on the home websites, but if you can get in there quick, you can get them for free shipping. I think this would have been like £20 more expensive if I'd ordered through Synapse. Obviously, through no fault of Synapse, is the fact that I don't live in the US, but yeah, filmtreasures.co.uk. He's on Instagram. I think his name is Graham, the man who runs it. He's lovely from the interactions I've had with him. Shout out. So yeah, Tombs of the Blind Dead. This is a slipcover edition, so you've got 2 different bits of artwork on each side, kind of the same as The Living Dead at Manchester Morgue. I'll be ready. I'll be ready for the shine. Oh, there's the shine. I don't really like steelbooks as a rule, because I think they look kind of out of place on the shelf, but it's inside a slipcover, so I can't complain. Yeah, this is, as you can hear, this is a steelbook with some wonderful artwork on it. I'll quickly take out the contents and just show off the artwork, if you'll bear with me. So you open it out fully, and this is what you get. Particularly love that. That's stunning. Yeah, so you've got the Blu-ray in here. Is it 4K? I believe it's 4K. 2K, my apologies, it's a 2K transfer. You've got the CD soundtrack in here, which actually, is it the CD soundtrack or is it music inspired by? I feel like it's music inspired by the film rather than the CD soundtrack, but you've then got the theatrical version and the Spanish and hybrid versions all together as well. So it's a 3-disc set, which is lovely. There's a kind of snapshot from the film behind this as well, but I don't want to take all the discs out. Yeah, what did I think of Tombs of the Blind Dead? I think I went into it expecting gore, just because it was quite a notorious kind of Spanish zombie film, and that's kind of the standard. But I came out of it really impressed for all the wrong reasons. Like, when I say the wrong reasons, just because it's not what I expected. Like the atmosphere build in this film is fantastic. Like without spoiling anything, the run up to the first kill is it's about 10 or 15 minutes of this girl, you know, wandering through these old ruins and setting up and lighting a fire, and it's all cobwebs and creaky doors, and you're never sure where the threat's coming from. The zombies in it look fantastic. They're not your traditional kind of bloodthirsty zombies. They're these oh, what's the word? I forgot the word. But they are blind as well. I know it sounds stupid, but I didn't realise that they would be blind. They can hear your heartbeat, I think, if I remember rightly. They go off sound and they can hear your heartbeat. And yet, Tombs of the Blind Dead, it sounds obvious, but I was like, oh, that's where the title comes from, because they're blind dead in a tomb. That makes sense. And yet, there's another scene inside a mannequin. I think it's a mannequin shop, obviously, because it's a horror film. And there's a very Bava flair in there. with the kind of coloured light flashing, and they even pick up on it in the film, because if you've ever watched a Mario Bava film, you'll have stuff like this in the background of a scene for no reason. It's just there to add atmosphere. Whereas these characters walk into a hallway and there's kind of a red flashing light. Any other film, it would be like not even talked about, just there to be spooky. And the woman goes something like, "Oh yes, it's annoying having this glass roof because the shop next door have that flashing neon sign." Anyway, and then they crack on with a plot. I'm like, aha, you've noticed. But yeah, there's a very creepy scene in that shop which I really enjoyed. So yeah, it's a very atmospheric film. It's it was released in 1972. That's a very rough guess, and I apologise if I'm wrong. But there's a special feature in here about Spanish kind of zombie films, and it touched upon something I hadn't really realised before, where they kind of say that the Spanish picked up on zombies long before the Italians did, even though you kind of have... I'm just going to put this down. You have, you know, zombie flesh eaters and Burial Ground and zombie Holocaust and films like that, which everyone just thinks, you know, Italian zombie movies. But they didn't come about until kind of post Dawn of the Dead for the most part, whereas the Spanish picked up on the success of Night of the Living Dead pretty much straight away. There was a couple of Paul Naschy films mentioned in there that kind of had undead vibes. Obviously, Living Dead at Manchester Morgue. Can't remember if that was like an Italian-Spanish co-production, but nevertheless, it was it was directed by George Grau, who was a Spanish director. And yeah, it's just one of them things that I'd never really picked up on before, but it's interesting nonetheless. So also in here we've got this was on the back. Obviously, just keeping it because it tells you everything that's on all the discs. Then you've got the Synapse Films catalogue, obviously filled to the brim with all of their latest releases. And then we've got the Tombs of the Blind Dead booklet, which has Tombs of the Blind Dead Synapse exclusive CD, various artists. Yeah, I think it's music inspired by the film on the CD front. But again, not one that I've read, this booklet. It is only thin, but just assume it's kind of information about the production, which is really nice to have. The only thing I don't like about these steel books is there's nowhere to actually put the, you know, to slot the books and that in, so you just kind of fit everything in where you can. So I'm just placing it in and shutting it and hoping for the best. Come on. Oh, that didn't feel good. Bear with me, I'm not damaging this steel book for the sake of a bloody live stream. Just sit and listen to the music and be quiet. There we go. So yeah, and as well, that artwork. I think that's the original poster. If you have that artwork facing out, you're a fucking... I nearly said an awful word there. You're a virgin. Because that's where it's at. That side's where it's at. Beautiful. So yeah, Tombs of the Blind Dead. Love it. Right. Something else Synapse released, but I've gone for the Arrow version of Phenomena by Dario Argento. So, simple as, again, it's another upgrade. This is the 4K one, similar vein to the Tenebrae release, which is coming out in a couple of weeks, similar to Cat o' Nine Tails, Deep Red, Bird with Crystal Plumage. They've all been upgraded to 4K UHD, and this is a film that wholly deserves it because it's stunning. Regardless of what your thoughts are on it, you have to admit that it's a very, very pretty film. So yeah, this is the outer box, obviously. Inside we have original artwork. We've got the 4K, 4K disc, and we've got the, is that the... Oh right, okay, so that's the original cut of the film. That's got the international and the Creepers cut, because it was retitled Creepers, I think, in America, and given a different different cut, so that's all in there, which is nice. Deep red card, kind of appropriate. And then the lobby cards we've got here. I think there's a Japanese one in here somewhere. Oh no, that's a poster. I have to show that off because I adore the Japanese artwork. Slot that back in there. These just feel really high quality. You see, there's another one where I've folded up the inside. Look at that. Do you know, it's incredible the amount of stuff they pack into these. I think, if I remember rightly, there's a kind of extra way it compares all the different versions. It's really interesting to see how they differ between the different versions. But yeah, This is one of the ones I was really apprehensive to upgrade because it was lacking the audio CD soundtrack. But I figured, you know, there's a vinyl release of it I'll probably pick up at some point anyway, so I'm not missing out on any of the music. So I might as well just upgrade. And I'm very, very happy I did. I know they've recently announced, well, they haven't announced it, have they? But there's been talk of a 4K Videodrome release, which is another one I'd be kind of split on because I have the limited edition Arrow set, but that also comes with obviously a big hefty booklet and the early Cronenberg films like Transfer and From the Drain, Crimes of the Future, and there's one more. I can't think of the name of that bloody film. I was going to look really clever there. But yeah, if that's one that I think I might upgrade if it contains the films. If not, I might buy the Blu-ray of the early Cronenberg films separate and then upgrade to the 4K. Either way, that's irrelevant for now. So, last thing to show off on here is the poster. This is that wonderful Japanese, I think it's Japanese poster. I just love how garish and over the top and colourful that is. Great stuff. And then you've got obviously the newly commissioned artwork. I know these sets were released in different capacities with different artwork on them. There's like ones with original artwork on them and ones with the newly commissioned artwork. I do like this style of them, so I wanted to keep that consistent, but I have to admit that the original artwork for Phenomena is gorgeous. Right, let's fit all this in again without screwing anything up. There we go. Lovely. Really smooth, this one as well. The other three that I've got are quite sort of, I don't know, abrasive isn't the right word, but this is quite glossy in comparison. Not a complaint. Right, more Arrow video. Very heavy on the Arrow today. This is a hell of an upgrade. So I did have the Severin release of this, and then Arrow decided they were going to outdo Severin by releasing Lucio Fulci's Demonia. Now this is another one that's going to be quite hard to show off because of how it opens. Yeah, this isn't, again, it's another film that doesn't really deserve this. However, here I am. Yeah, it's not one of Fulci's best, but it's nevertheless worth talking about because late day Fulci is, you know, it's still Lucio Fulci at the end of the day, and it's nowhere near as bad as like Ghost of Sodom or anything like that. So in here, I believe that this is the same transfer as the Severin version, but you get a feature-length documentary interview with Lucio Fulci in here called Fulci Talks, which was kind of the tipping point for me. That was the thing where I was like, right, yeah, I do need to upgrade. So yeah, you've got two discs in here as opposed to just the one that you've got with the other set. So this is what it looks like on the outside. Graham Humphrey's artwork, hit or miss sometimes, I think. Knocked it out of the park on this. I adore that. This opens downwards, weirdly. So that's what the outer sleeve looks like. And then this opens like a crucifix. So I'll quickly try and show this off as best as I can. So, look at that. So, you've got the film and everything on there. Obviously, you've got the documentary at the bottom. You've got a booklet in here, and you've got some lobby cards at the top. I'll pull them all out so you can see them without me having to worry about dropping anything. So, there's more of Graham Humphrey's artwork. Again, I haven't read this, I have to admit, but it's nicely laid out. You know, it's very thematically correct as far as the film goes. And then we've got the lobby cards in here. I really like these lobby cards. I wish I had a better way of displaying them. I think Catriona McCall was offered a role in this, but she turned it down. There's Fulci. Which I can kind of understand. She'd had her time with Fulci, but it would have been nice to see her in this one. And as, like I say, as late Fulci goes, it's by far, it's far from his worst. So it's worth seeking out. I'm just going to take a second to remember how this folds up, because it's quite confusing if I remember rightly. He says and then does it first time. Right, so then that just slots back in there. So yeah, I was really thrilled to get this. And it's still available on their website if you want to pick this one up, I think. So that's Demonia. Now, we mentioned earlier that there was a Mario Bava film that I didn't want to say anything about because I knew we were going to be talking about it. And this is it. This is Shock, which was Mario Bava's last film as director. He did some assistant stuff after this, but this is the last Mario Bava film. Assistant director Lamberto Bava as well, interestingly. You tend to find that on some later Mario Bava films, is that Lamberto Bava slowly begins to creep in, which is quite cool. I think he kind of passing of the baton. Even though they were two very different filmmakers, I think it's nice to see that, you know, it was father to son. Excuse me. So, picked this up in HMV when we went camping. Where did we go? Leeds? I think we had a trip to Leeds anyway. Yeah, I love the artwork on this. This is again released with a different cover. This was also released as Beyond the Door 2 because the 1974 film Beyond the Door turned out to be a surprise success, and it features the same child actor. Totally unrelated, but they decided as a marketing move to release it as Beyond the Door 2. But I always knew it as Shock, so why not get the Shock one. Pull it out, we've got the original artwork there with Shock spelled incorrectly, which always kind of, I don't know, it's a unique fingerprint in it. So yeah, this is Daria Nicolodi's in this, and this is apparently her favourite performance she ever gave. That includes Argento, all of that stuff. Nah, she likes her performance in this, and I can totally get why. So yeah, got the disc in there, we've got another booklet. It's a really good film. It's one of my favourite Bava films, and I really wasn't expecting it. It's very, very different to his early stuff. It's a million miles from Gothic. There's a weird transition in Bava's filmography where you look at the early stuff and it's a lot of kind of Black Sunday, Black Sabbath, you know, cobwebs and candles kind of stuff, whipping the body, Kill Baby Kill. And then he slowly creeps into kind of the modern stuff. I think Hatchet for the Honeymoon is a middle ground. And then you get stuff like Bay of Blood and Shock and Rabid Dogs, which are fiercely modern films. Well, for the time anyway, you know, fiercely modern for the 70s. So yeah, I'm thrilled to own this, and it was one of those I put on and I was like proper, I had a smile on my face all the way through it. Yeah, really, really like this one. Highly recommended from me. It's Shock. I'm just going to swap the music over because I believe that is the end of the Silent Hill 2 soundtrack. Unbelievably, we have talked all the way through it. It is indeed, it's the last one. What should we do now? I want something instrumental. Let's have a look at my classic horror movie playlist. Shall we do? I think we do. I think we have some Day of the Dead because the Dead Suite. There we go. Again, if this is too loud, just let me know. But fuck off. It's my stream. Right, next one is another one I picked up from CEX. I believe this was about a tenner. And it's a film I've always wanted to see. It's directed by a guy called Don Sharp, who worked quite closely with Hammer. And also, he directed a film called Dark Places, which is in the second volume of the Eurocrypt of Christopher Lee, coming out from Severin. Might already be out, I'm not sure. Apparently a good film. And this is a film that I've always been aware of because the posters just... If you know about cult British horror, you know about this film. And the film is Psychomania from BFI. Now, this is a weird one. This is kind of... Bikers discover that if you commit suicide and believe you'll come back, then you will come back. But it walks a very weird line between kind of psychedelic, hippie, and horror. It's very weird. It's very muddled. I'm not going to say I liked it, but I'm not going to say I didn't like it. It's kind of a very... It's a film I need to see again. It took me by surprise. Like She-Devils on Wheels meets... if George Romero directed She-Devils on Wheels, there we go, we'll go with that. It's not like that at all, but fuck it, we'll go with it. So yeah, BFI have some really interesting stuff in their catalogue, and like I say, I'm more than happy to own this because it's a iconic British horror film, if nothing else. So yeah, I've got the original artwork in there with the Blu-ray disc and the DVD. So yeah, dual edition as well. Happy to pick this up for the price. It was only like a tenner, like I say. So yeah, spot on. Psychomania. That's the look I always remember. That's the thing that I associate with this film, is the helmets with the skull things on. Cool. It's a good look. Right. This is the last Arrow upgrade, I promise you, for this stream anyway. This is one of the ones where the fucking sticker doesn't stay on properly. Anyway. This is the 4K upgrade of The Hills Have Eyes. Now this is one I didn't think I needed to upgrade, because I thought, well, it's a film that benefits from looking how it looks. But then I think Amazon had it on sale for like 24 quid or something. And again, I've got the other one there, sell it, basically get the upgrade for very, very little. And yeah, this as far as I'm aware, is exactly the same as the old edition, just with a 4K transfer. And it does look good, I'll give it that, it does look good. So yeah, got the card on there. As I say, doesn't want to stick to it, and this is one of the ones that for some reason doesn't fit inside the box. So I'm just going to have to hang on for dear life on this one. So, original artwork obviously on the box there with the 4K black box. Open this up. You've got your disc and you've got your lobby cards. Quickly get these out. I really like the Hills Have Eyes lobby cards, I think they're cool. It's a different languages now on here. That one, I really like that one. Cool stuff. So yeah, that's in there. Also contained within is this booklet. This is a very shiny booklet, it's very glossy. Again, pretty much I think it is exactly the same as the booklet that you got in the other one, just on slightly higher quality paper. And then we've got obviously the poster, which I'll quickly flick out and show you, even though you've seen both of these by now. There's the new artwork. I don't know, the new artwork on this one just seems too similar to the old one, I think. I think they could have done more with that. Because it's like, I don't know, maybe it might just be because it's a similar colour that I think that, but yeah. Nevertheless, again, very, very happy to upgrade this one. And it is worth it. As much as I thought it probably wouldn't be, it is worth it, I'll give them that. Now, the next two are from companies I own nothing else of. So these were first time buys from me for this company. I tell a lie, I shall tell you why in a sec. But yeah, I wanted to get this because it's one of my favourite slasher films. And I was always conflicted as to what the best release of this was, but anyway, a bit of digging and I found out that Scream Factory's collector's edition of My Bloody Valentine is the way to go. I say Scream Factory because I don't own much Scream Factory, but I do own the Friday the 13th box set, which I forgot was Scream Factory. And also, that John Carpenter one, Someone's Watching Me. That's Scream Factory as well. But yeah, this is the slipcover edition, collector's edition. Fanciful version of that. Now, good thing on here is it's in 4K for a start, but it has as close to uncut as you're going to get with this film, because a lot of gore was cut out of this movie. And in the version I first watched, the gore was in it, but the jump in quality of the footage was unreal. Like, it always knew something was coming up. It was cool, don't get me wrong, it was very kind of VHS grindhouse feel. But what they've done is they've taken that footage, the gory footage, and totally remastered it. And it looks fantastic. There's still bits missing, but that's stuff that we're likely never going to see because the footage is gone. Particularly, there's a death in the mine shaft where a couple gets like a drill through the back, which you see them doing their thing, and then the next thing you see, the drill is already through them. But apparently they did shoot that death scene. And I'd love to see it, but it's one of them things I think we're just going to have to accept isn't going to be coming out anytime soon. Anyway, yes, My Bloody Valentine. You've got the original artwork in there. Why do the Scream Factory slips have that on the back? It's like a little window. If anyone knows, let me know. So yeah, it's not like a hugely extensive package this, but it's everything I need for this film. It's got the two different versions in here. You've got the uncut and you've got the theatrical. Why anyone would watch the theatrical is beyond me, because if you want a slasher film, this really, really delivers. It's one of the reasons I like it so much. It's a slasher film that knows what the audience wants. It doesn't want, you know, too much sappy love. There is a little bit of that going on, but it doesn't fuck about. You know, it's fast paced. It's in an atmospheric setting. It's loaded with blood and guts. This one. So if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. Now, this one, I genuinely own nothing else of this company, but I endeavour to own more because I adore this release. And it is the Grindhouse release of Lucio Fulci's The Beyond. I adore this film. I forgot how good it was. I know Arrow released it. It's piss compared to this. It really is. This was an instance where I was so happy to pay the extra to get this. So there's all your features and that on the back. You've got your right up in the middle there. Spectacular high definition digital transfer of the original uncensored director's cut, 5.1 digital surround sound. This is the only release I've ever had where the sound was the thing that jumped out at me. I mean, it's a beautiful transfer, but I was sat thinking, fucking hell, this sounds good. You know, like there's a scene where there's like a thunderstorm and it's so bassy, it's great. It looks and sounds brilliant. It's loaded with special features. And the specialist of the special features is something that I'm not going to be able to show you. The reason I'm not going to be able to show you is this is glow in the dark. Do you know what? Should we try? I'll turn the lights off and we'll see. I'm going to just hold it there for a second. I really want this to show up. It's not like the whole thing, it's just I think the lady's eyes glow. If anyone's just joined, they're going to be wondering what the hell's going on. Right, off. Ah, you can't see. Why is that one still on? Go away. No, you can see fuck all. It's glowing for me though, I can see it. Oh, this is spooky. No, back on. Oh, thank fuck for that. Right, actually freaked myself out there. Right, just trust me, it's glow in the dark. Now on to the actual film, you know, the bit that no one's interested in. So, comes in that box there with some different artwork on it. Open it up, we are immediately greeted with the CD soundtrack by Fabio Frizzi, which is, it's a fantastic soundtrack. I haven't listened to this CD yet, I know the music, but I assume it sounds as good as it does on the film. There's a little track listing on the back. You have got a little booklet in there. Chapter selections. The film is split into 50 chapters. How the hell they managed to do that, I have no idea. But yeah, nothing too in-depth here, just a short overview of the film and its release. And then we've got the feature disc there, and we've got the extras disc as well separately. Now the reason I take the discs out is because they've included something really cool on the inside of the box, and that is an entire Lucio Fulci filmography, starting from, I think that is, sorry, that's the earliest is down here weirdly, but it goes from his first film right the way up to his last film, Daughter's Silence, from 1992. Again, just another little cool thing they've added in there, and this release alone has inspired me to upgrade everything I have that the Grindhouse has a release of to the Grindhouse version. I've got Cannibal Ferox is in there. Oh, what else was there a Grindhouse thing of? Do you know, my mind goes blank. There's like 5 or 6 though, where I've looked at the release I've got and I thought, nah, the Grindhouse one's better. So yeah, fully endorse this one. It's stunning, stunningly beautiful. And the last one, an hour and 24 minutes, an hour and a half. Let's get this wrapped up in feature time. The can of Coke's lasted me ages. Right, this was 10 quid. I remember that specifically because I thought that is value for 10 quid. CEX, man, they have some good things in there. as much as this film might not be worth 10 quid, the release certainly is. This is Zombie 5, Killing Birds, which it's a bizarre little creature, this one. I was expecting a film where birds killed people. It's not that. It's a film called Zombie 5, and when zombies showed up, I was like, what? Yeah, I couldn't begin to tell you what this film is about, but I quite liked it. I thought it was quite good. It's, well, not good in the normal sense, but, you know, I sat down, I watched it, and I thought, yeah, I'll probably watch that again. That was alright. Yeah, it had some good atmosphere in there. It had some really good kills. It did have birds in it. It did have zombies in it, so the title's somewhat accurate. And this is the 88 Films limited edition release of Zombie 5, Killing Birds. I don't know why Zombie 2, 3, 4 and 6 didn't get limited edition releases, but never mind. So yeah, pull this out quickly. Similar format to the Arrow ones, this, but it's nice nonetheless. You've got a book in here with more of Graham Humphrey's artwork on it, which is cool because this gives an overview of the zombie franchise. So you've got obviously Killing Birds there, but as you go back, you get Zombie 4. I loved your Video Nasty Section 3. That's glad to see you live. Thank you. I appreciate that because that was a lot of work. Then you've got Zombie 2 in there. It's nice that it kind of goes through the zombie series rather than just focusing on the one film. There's obviously Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, Zombie Flesh Eaters. I've another video on my channel where I kind of do a rough overview of what the zombie franchise is. There's a few mistakes in there, I've learnt this, but you know, if you want to make a film about the zombie franchise and not make mistakes, it's easily done because it's very confusing. There you've got the disc obviously in the box. And the last thing to show off before I quickly disappear is the poster. It's a little bit smaller than the Arrow posters, but it's pretty nonetheless. So there's obviously the new artwork. Then the old artwork's actually really, really good as well on these. There you go, Killing Birds. Feels good to get that out of the way, I'm not going to lie. Because as stuff's been coming in, I've been making a list on my phone of things to update. And the list has been getting longer and longer and longer, and I thought, can I do it all in one video? Of course I can, of course I can. Yeah, so that was Zombie 5 Killing Birds. 10 quid for that, more than happy, more than happy. And so we come to the end. I'm going to turn the music off now because my phone is running out of battery. So, I know it was a lot, but thanks for sticking with me if you have done. Let me know what you think of the things I've shown off. There's a lot to say. There's a lot of stuff in here that I'm really happy with. I know, obviously, when I did the original kind of running through the films series, the live streams, I was kind of restricted to how they were alphabetically, whereas this is stuff I've specifically focused on getting. So I feel like there's probably a higher density of good stuff in here. Wall-to-wall bangers, basically, for 88 minutes and 12 seconds. But yeah, I shall leave you to do whatever you want now. So go and get your COVID jabs, go and enjoy the rest of your night or morning or whatever it is where you are. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you hopefully very soon. Maybe with some Resident Evil 4, maybe with some more records, maybe with some more Blu-rays, who knows. Thank you very much, see you later. Now I need to remember how the fuck to end these on the iPad.